Oh, yeah. Is it Thursday already? Finally, we get to talk about Ahsoka Season 2. It's been filming for months now, and we haven't gotten any leaks or anything, and now we finally got something. The directors for Ahsoka Season 2 have been revealed. Also, we got to talk about the plot for Season 2 because we know quite a bit from Dave Filoni himself and how important the Mortis gods will be in the future. But we got to talk about Andor Season 2 and, because it's going to win a bunch of awards, The Acolyte Season 2, as the first season of The Acolyte ended 1 year ago. We have officially passed the year anniversary of Darth Plagueis' first ever live-action appearance in Star Wars. Yeah, that's right, we got a lot to get into and not a lot of time. So without further ado, let's get into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? What's up, chat? Yes, my hair is still wet. I just got out of the shower. But I will say, what's really cool about Ahsoka Season 2, as you guys know, I love Ahsoka Season 1, and I'm a huge Rebels fan. What's really cool about Ahsoka Season 2 is that is the future. Everybody who's a Legends, Heir to the Empire fan, everybody who loves the canon stuff with the Mandalorian, that's where we are going. That's the next step. We also got to talk about Andor winning a bunch of awards, or about to win a bunch of awards, The Acolyte, and Darth Vader's lightsabers for sale. We got just some random stuff to talk about too, as per usual. Star Wars news is all over the place. But before we get into any of it, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Brandon, what? Oh, why did it open up? Over there. Brandon, what is up? Justin in the house. Rachel, how we doing? Starship 66, how we doing? Kyler, what is up? Cleve Morris in the house. Baldy Prick, what is up? It's been a while. How we doing? Holly, what is up? Tafari Tano in the house. Trent, what is up? Darth Plagueis lives in the house. 730 Evie, how we doing? You know the deal. If I missed you, just yell at me in the chat. WV Grad, what's up? You know the deal. If I missed you, just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so I saw, maybe it was, who said that? Darth Plagueis. I bet you he's wearing a Grogu shirt. I'm not wearing a Grogu shirt today. I'm not wearing a Grogu shirt. But I do like that idea. Because we have the credits now with the whole gambling, which we haven't turned on in a long time. We'll have to turn on gambling soon. But we have the whole credit system with the live streams. The more you watch, the more credits you get with Droopy McCool. So maybe we should do some incentives, you know? If you can guess what shirt I'm wearing, you get like 1,000 credits or something like that. I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay, but that's completely off topic. Let's get back on topic here. I saw somebody mention this before the live stream too, talking about Mike, all your theories are wrong. Something along the lines of like, stop making theories and predictions. I can't scroll up that far now, but it was something along those lines. And to that I say, well, that's what this is for. This is why we do this. This the reason we do that. This that do. You know? The whole part of being a Star Wars fan, the whole fun of it all is being able to sit here, make predictions. Yes, they're wrong about 90% of the time, but that's not the point. Being able to be a Star Wars fan and make fun predictions, speculate about what's to come next, which we're going to do a shit ton of today with Ahsoka Season 2. That's the fun of being a Star Wars fan. So to that person, which I don't even know their username because I can't scroll up that far, I say, shut up. No, I'm kidding. I respect you as a human being, but your opinion is invalid. That was a creepy smile. Okay. Can't wait for Ahsoka Season 2. Oh, yeah. Me too. All right. Let's start with the directors, shall we? Robert, what's up? How we doing? Okay. Sorry. Don't make predictions. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole gist of what we do here. I don't know. What would we talk about if we're not going to make predictions? What would we do? It'd be a very quiet live stream. You know? Honey Badger in the house. What's up? How we doing? Okay. Let's dive into this. This comes from Inverse.com. Ahsoka Season 2 will bring back a prolific Star Wars director. Yaddle Cam. Does anybody know who we're talking about just from that? Anybody, chat? Anybody, chat? possibly the voice of Yaddle. All right, let's dive into it. Star Wars TV. Did anybody get it? Oh, I see it in the chat. Star Wars TV has incubated new talent and let established TV figures try their hands on different skills. Dave Filoni had directed plenty of episodes of Star Wars animation, but he made his live-action debut with the first episode of The Mandalorian. Not many people know that. The first episode of Season 1 of The Mandalorian is Dave Filoni. And now he helms the interconnected set of shows commonly known as the Mandaloverse. One of these shows, Ahsoka, is all his, is gearing up for a second season. And a new look at the directors involved reveals a lot of familiar faces, including one of the most prolific Star Wars directors out there. One that many Star Wars fans really love quite a bit, but doesn't get enough credit that she deserves. Two Ahsoka Season 2 crew members have updated their VCs? Their common visions? Their chicken vitamins? Their VCs to include the second season of Ahsoka, directing the directing that they worked on. One listed Jennifer Getzinger, who, you might remember, directed episode 6 of season 1 of Ahsoka. Episode 6 is the one after Shadow Lord, so that's the one a long time ago, I believe. Hang on, somebody fact check me on that, or I'll fact check myself, actually. Let's go to Disney+. Episode 6 of season 1 is Grand Admiral Thrawn's first appearance, I think, and Ezra's. Wow. So Jennifer had quite the first episode in season 1 here, if I do remember correctly. Yeah, episode 6 is far, far away. This is when Grand Admiral Thrawn gets his first ever appearance in live action, and Ezra Bridger. So that's a pretty big one. Yeah. And Anders and Angstrom, like Angstrom Levy. Is that his name? From Invincible? Did anybody understand that reference? Who directed episodes of Hannah and Percy Jackson in the Olympians. Well, I've not seen either of those. I've heard very good things about Percy Jackson. I've never even heard of Hannah. But having said that, yeah. Oh, hang on. Why did the scream not go off? Oh, ask and you shall receive. Hang on, we just got a membership. Hang on, chat. We'll get back to that in a second. Oh my God, your pal Joe with the gifted membership. I appreciate that quite a bit. Goes to Cannibal the Dragon. Love to see a familiar face. Let's invite him. Cannibal the Dragon. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Cannibal the Dragon, I appreciate that. Your pal Joe, that's very, very generous. I appreciate it. Membership, super chats, keep the lights on over here. So I appreciate that quite a bit. But now that I've been so rudely interrupted, can I get back to this article? So, two directors that we know of, Jennifer from season 1, episode 6, and Angstrom Levy from Invincible, who directed Percy Jackson in the Olympian, or at least episodes of it. The other listings contain Bryce Dallas Howard and Dave Filoni, of course, two of the busiest creatives working on Star Wars today. Dave Filoni's involvement is no surprise, as he does serve as the showrunner and director of 2 episodes in Ahsoka Season 1. Howard, on the other hand, has yet to direct an episode of Ahsoka, which is actually pretty surprising. God! Hang on, we got a super chat. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that. Says, I hope Bryce Dallas Howard gets her own movie. Interesting. What are the chances we see Cal Kestis in Ahsoka Season 2? Oh, we'll get to that in a little bit. We will get to that. I agree with you that Bryce Dallas Howard should get her own movie. Absolutely. That seems like a no-brainer at this point. When we were talking about the Rey movie and how Sharmina Bencino was going to be the first ever female director to direct a Star Wars movie, people were like, okay, that's cool, but she has no experience with Star Wars. Bryce Dallas Howard, on the other hand, has plenty of experience with Star Wars, and a lot of fans would be very open to the idea of her directing a Star Wars film. I think so. But tell me in the chat if you think Bryce Dallas Howard should get a Star Wars movie as well. And I appreciate the super chat. But let's get back into this. So she didn't direct an episode of season 1. She did direct an episode of Skeleton Crew recently. She did the episodes of Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian's seasons. So she's been around the Mandoverse for quite some time, but hasn't tapped into the Ahsoka world. However, this does lead many fans to believe that some of these characters may be crossing over. Dave Filoni's movie, when it was pitched at Star Wars Celebration all those years ago in 2023, was announced as a culmination film of all things Mandoverse. The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, and Skeleton Crew. The director that's worked on all of those projects, except for Ahsoka, is Bryce Dallas Howard. The person who could almost creatively bring all these characters together, or who they would think could bring all these characters together, would in fact be Bryce Dallas Howard. So keep that in the back of your head as we keep on going. And here's actually a picture of her on the set of Skeleton Crew with Jude Law, who we've talked about in recent past, being rumored to be in a lot more Star Wars projects in the near future. So, Bryce Dallas Howard's most recent work was Skeleton Crew. Howard has long been involved with Star Wars. Oh, hang on. We got another super chat. Can I just read an article nowadays? God! Alexander Wilson with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, I'm worried about the fact that Dave Filoni is the only writer for season 2. He needs a writer's room. I don't think he did such a good job with season 1. Well, I completely disagree with the end of that sentence. I will give you the benefit of, I will play devil's advocate, I should say. Yeah, he's probably the only one credited, but even when there's a writer's room, it's usually only the main writer who is credited. Now, I don't know that for sure if you are right. Is that the case that he's the only credited writer right now? I mean, maybe that could change, even though we give all the credit to Tony Gilroy for Andor season 2 and 1. He's not the only writer who was working on them, or working on that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he was the only writer for season 1. I'm not too sure. I don't know the facts on that. However, I will say, being a huge Dave Filoni fan myself, and a huge Ahsoka season 1 fan myself, I'm not too worried about it. Not too worried about it. Ron, what's up? How we doing? Okay. But now that I've been so rudely interrupted, Howard has been long been involved with Star Wars, directing 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, an episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and Skeleton Crew. She also provided the voice of Master Yaddle in the episodes of Tales of the Jedi, where she dies to Count Dooku. And for all you Yaddle heads out there, she knows the franchise well, but Ahsoka is new for her. Ahsoka Season 1 used several first-time Star Wars directors, which is where they should get their experience. Like I said before, a lot of people not liking the Sharmina Bed-Chinoy choice for the Rey movie because she has no experience with Star Wars. You give her a episode of Ahsoka, you give her an episode of Andor or the Book of Boba Fett or anything, then she has experience, and people will be like, okay, I like that episode that she directed, let's give her a movie. That's the same case with all these Disney Plus shows, honestly. Not just Bryce Dallas Howard, but others as well. Because, as it says here, Ahsoka Season 1 did use several first-time Star Wars directors. But it looks like Season 2 will rely more on seasoned talent, like Bryce Dallas. Could this be a sign that Season 2 is focused on the connections to other Mandoverse series, like I mentioned before, as everything leads up to Dave Filoni's big Mandoverse crossover movie? Let's take a step back here for a second. Let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll. Do you think the Mandalorian trilogy, or let's put this, do you think we are getting a Mandalorian, that's better, trilogy? Now, the reason I bring this up, a Mandalorian trilogy. Yes or no? The reason I bring this up is because we're talking here about Dave Filoni's combination movie like it's the last one. Like, we're going to get The Mandalorian and Grogu, Ahsoka Season 2, and then Dave Filoni's movie, and that's it, which I don't think is the case here. Yes, I think all these crossover events are going to happen. You're going to see the Skeleton Crew characters come in and meet the Ahsoka characters and meet the Book of Boba Fett characters. All those worlds will collide, all to take down Grand Admiral Thrawn. But that isn't going to be the final movie. Dave Filoni's film is just the second in a trilogy, I think. But tell me in the chat, do you think it's going to be a trilogy, yes or no? And while you do that, let me get to the super chat. Alexander with another very generous $5 holla. God damn. Says Andor has 5 credited writers. Filoni is the only one for season 1 and season 2. Wow. This reeks of a disaster waiting to happen for Ahsoka. I mean, I would only say it reeks of a disaster if I didn't think that Ahsoka season 1 is the best Star Wars content to ever exist. And that's not even an over-exaggeration. I have all the faith in the world for Dave Filoni. I mean, he's the guy who's, some argue, kept Star Wars alive, but I think he's really just the guy. Gives us the Clone Wars. You could argue with the help of George Lucas, of course. Gives us Rebels, gives us Tales, gives us The Bad Batch, gives us Ahsoka, gives us The Mandalorian with the help of Jon Favreau, gives us Skeleton Crew with the help of John Watts. Like, he's involved with all of these great projects that we've seen over the last 15 years, 20 years, 20 years. And he's the guy behind all of it. So in Dave Filoni, I trust. He's proven it time and time again for the reason to trust him, you know? Yeah. Is Ahsoka better than the original trilogy? No. That's 3 versus 1. No, it's not. Yeah. So I've seen no reason to not trust Dave Filoni up until this point. Could Ahsoka season 2 be an absolute bomb and suck? Sure. But do I think it's going to? No, because it's been proven. It's been proven time and time again that this guy knows what he's doing, especially when it comes to Star Wars. Yeah. Indeed. It'd be nice if they brought on Timothy Zahn, but they won't do that. They won't credit him as a writer, but he has been in conversations. I mean, Dave Filoni's talked about it before in interviews of how he has been talking to Timothy Zahn. And actually, even Timothy Zahn has been talking about that too. Because bringing over Thrawn, that specific character, to canon and I guess to live action, he's been in canon for a while now, is a very difficult thing to do. To have an heir to the Empire be a non-Force using, non-Sith Lord, non-lightsaber wielding character, the big blue meanie, it's very difficult to do. Timothy Zahn has done it already and done it in a very good way. And I mean, Legends material, those 90s books of the heir to the Empire is what Dave Filoni grew up on, and that's why he's bringing this all to canon. Like that's really the reason behind this. It's a young kid who grew up to be an adult who has the power to make what he wants in Star Wars. That's really what we're talking about here. He loved Heir to the Empire. He's making it canon. Single-handedly. Yeah. I say we don't get Jedi 3 until at least 2027. Yeah, probably not. That doesn't mean that Cal Kestis can't come to live action before 2027. Yeah. Indeed. Okay. Where was I? Oh, back to the article. So, all this could be leading up to the big Mandoverse crossover film. There is still some room for fresh faces, of course. Every project has given us fresh faces. And if we get Abeloth, I mean, she's a Legends character, but still, fresh faces. Ahsoka gave us Balin and Shin. Book of Boba Fett gave us the Vespa Gang.
I got a bad feeling about this.
True story. The Mandalorian, of course, gave us everybody. Gave us Greef Karga, gave us Din Djarin, gave us Grogu, gave us Cara Dune, gave us all these people. Moff Gideon. So there's always room for new faces. As this... Oh, they're talking about directors. God damn it. As this will be Angstrom Levy's Star Wars debut. But it looks like Ahsoka Season 2 is pulling out all the stops, giving Bryce Dallas Howard another credit for her ever-growing Star Wars resume. And then Ahsoka is now streaming on Disney Plus. So, tell me in the chat, do you think this is a good thing? Actually, that's kind of an easy question, but I'll ask it anyway. Are you happy with this choice? That Bryce Dallas Howard is coming over to film an episode of or maybe possibly multiple episodes for Ahsoka Season 2? Yes or no? It seems like a no-brainer to have this director crossover. I'm shocked that we haven't talked about this before, because Bryce Dallas Howard has been working on multiple projects, and it seems like she might be the one who has the ability to cross these characters over, especially with the Skeleton Crew, because that project right now seems so disconnected to everything else. There was opportunities to give us characters like Hondo Naka, or maybe even Carson Teva, or New Republic officers that we know and have seen before. Harrison Dula could have showed up. There was a lot of ways that Skeleton Crew could have connected to all these other Mandoverse projects, but it didn't. And I think having Bryce Dallas Howard come over to Ahsoka Season 2, and of course Dave Filoni, that gives you the opportunity to cross these people over. Absolutely. Star Wars needs a reboot. Funny you mentioned that. We were just talking about this last stream, how Star Wars, unlike other IPs, because we were talking about Superman and Harry Potter is getting a reboot and all this stuff. Unlike those other IPs, Star Wars will never be rebooted, and it never should. And that's why it works so much better than all the other ones. Yeah. Exactly. Let's go. Bryce Dallas Howard is back. We're in great hands. Yeah. You could say that again. Wait, hang on. I just missed the chat. Let me see. Thrilled. Nice. I hope we get to see what happened between to Sabine and Ezra. What we see Ahsoka and Anakin, what we see Ahsoka and Anakin are up to. Well, Sabine is trapped with Ahsoka on Peridia. That's the problem. So we're going to get two different stories in Ahsoka Season 2. One in the Peridia galaxy and one in the galaxy we know and love. And in this galaxy, the one we know and love, Thrawn's going to be taken over. He's going to be riling up win after win after win after win. Going face-to-face with Admiral Akbar, probably absolutely destroying him. Could even lead to a whole Heir to the Empire type deal where maybe, I know Felia's not really around, but you could have Akbar be maybe arrested for possible treason. It'd be very close to the actual legend story. But getting to see Thrawn get wins and wins and wins, I think the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is going to be a loss for the good guys. I think we're going to get to see Grand Admiral Thrawn come in and get a big old win in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and then again in Ahsoka Season 2. So by the time we get to the next movie, by the time we get to Dave Filoni's crossover event, Thrawn will be a huge threat. He will have this massive army of Night Sisters and stormtroopers alike, and he'll pretty much seem unstoppable. Probably have taken over at Atten, probably have the backings of thousands and thousands of credits and the ability to print unlimited credits. So I think we're going to get to see in Ahsoka Season 2 and the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Big Blue Meanie get a bunch of big blue wins on his side at least. Yeah. Indeed. For Star Wars movies that has Jedi and Force, we need OG people that used to work with Lucasfilm, like Timothy Zahn. Well, the problem is Timothy Zahn wrote Legends novels. And as much as people love the extended universe, like myself, George Lucas never saw that as canon. He's actually been very adamant about how he really didn't think it was canon. And didn't really have any contact with any of those people either. So, yeah. I don't even think Dave Filoni is a good option for live action projects, not even movies. Well, that's just, I mean, come on. He's the guy. He's the apprentice to the guy. Everybody wants George Lucas back, which, I mean, who doesn't? But he's not, like, he retired 13 years ago. He's not coming back. And your next best option is the guy who he trained for a decade. Almost a decade. And that's Dave Filoni. Yeah. Indeed. He has 30 years before The Force Awakens to tell a story that could be very epic. Oh, absolutely. Like, Thrawn doesn't have to be a one-and-done thing. He can be around for a while. Ahsoka Season 1 sets up Thrawn. He's not going to be gone in 2 seconds. He's going to stick around for a while. And obviously he can't, you have to set up the sequels, which has the First Order and Snoke and Palpatine and Kylo Ren. So you have to set that up too. So you need to leave some time, and there has to be some time of peace because Luke Skywalker is making his Jedi Temple. But you don't have to rush Thrawn. Like, he can be around for at least the next 4 or 5 years in the real world. So we could be looking up till 2030, and we're still getting Grand Admiral Thrawn. Possibly the Avengers Endgame level event of killing Thrawn, or defeating Thrawn. Maybe he doesn't die. But the defeating of Thrawn could happen in 5 years from now. We just don't know. Because The Mandalorian and Grogu is next year, and if you're doing a movie of the trilogy every 2 years, like they did with the sequels, then that would be 2026, 2028, and 2030. 2030 sounds so far away, but it's really only 5 years from now, which kind of sounds very far away depending on how you look at it, I guess. Yeah. Indeed. Filoni writes fun Star Wars stuff after the style of the Legends books, which is fun. But he isn't capable of writing something with brilliant dialogue and mature themes like Andor. I still tend to disagree with that. Dialogue-wise, I will agree that he's not on the same level as writing monologues like Luthen's in Andor, but I disagree with the fact that he can't make a more mature Star Wars. You look at The Mandalorian itself, that's not like made for kids. Yes, Grogu's really cute, but it's just not. One of the opening scenes is these stormtrooper heads on pikes. Like, that's just not, no. You got people's, just, no. I think in episode 1, Din Djarin is evaporating Jawas with his blaster. Even Ahsoka has some pretty dark stuff. Granted, I mean, she dies. But even more than that, you got zombies, you got Night Sisters, you got just witches and all that stuff. But I will agree with you on the dialogue thing. I think Dave... I really don't know how much of the dialogue he was writing for Clone Wars. That's the thing. Because some of the dialogue in Clone Wars was really good. Like, really, really good. Like, really, really good. But even Rebels has some really great dialogue, but who knows if he was even writing that. Yeah. The Mandalorian was John, not Dave. Well, again, we just talked about this. He directed the first episode of the season. He's a co-executive producer and co-creator of the show. So yes, the idea for Din Djarin specifically, a Boba Fett-like character, was Jon Favreau's, pitched to Dave Filoni. The two of them made the show. And I think John would be the first one to tell you that a lot of it is Dave Filoni. Yeah. This has turned into a shit on Dave Filoni stream. Have I been shitting on Dave Filoni? If that's what happened, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You guys must be going crazy. Heard rumors that Netflix might buy Star Wars. What? Been saying this for a while. Disney should let Netflix stream older shows. Oh, buy Star Wars shows. Okay, that's completely different. That you're saying like buy the entire IP. I still don't think that's a great idea. Disney Plus works so well because it's all those places in the same, or all that content in the same spot. You want to go watch Star Wars, you want to go watch Marvel, you want to go watch The Simpsons, or what else is on Pixar, or anything else. That's on Disney Plus. There's no denying that Netflix is a bigger streaming service, but even still. Yeah. Indeed. I'm just hyped and glad that Star Wars is now in a place where I feel confident that everything they put out is ultimately approved by Dave Filoni. And that gives me much hope for the future. Yeah. Him being the CCO is the greatest thing that could possibly happen. And I think he might be the CEO by the end of the year. Not of Disney, but of Lucasfilm. Yeah. It's the difference between writing great consistently and writing great in important moments, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's tough to compete with a guy like Tony Gilroy in writing monologues. It would also feel very strange. Andor works that way. Like, you can have a character like Luthen or Marva or Kino Loy or what's Mon Mothma's husband's name? Why am I blanking on his name? Chat, what's his name? My brain is broken, chat. I don't even know his name. What the hell's his name? Somebody? Perrin. Thank you, Alexander. Perrin, yes. Thank you. It's Perrin! Phil! It's definitely not Phil. Perrin. I wish his name was Phil. It's hard in a show like Mandalorian or Ahsoka to have a character like Perrin stand up and give a monologue. I'm not saying it's impossible, but Andor works that way because it's an ensemble and because it's this longer form media of 12 episodes that are all about an hour, and you're telling this really long story of the rebellion. So it is different in that way, different writing wise. It'd be pretty wild if Sabine just stood up and was like, just ranting for like 20 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. As CEO, I trust Dave Filoni with my life. That's crazy. The man has all the knowledge and planning needed for that role. I'm so excited for it. Yeah, I think doing the co-CEO thing, co-president thing with Lucasfilm, with him and Carrie Beck, is the way to go, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. Yeah. Dave, what's up? How we doing? Disney should show their Star Wars and Marvel shows on cable channels for the revenue, but for the cable, but bar the cable providers, room have their ability on demand. What? I don't think that's English, but I think I know what you're getting at. Have Star Wars and Marvel be on cable? Well, Star Wars movies and Marvel movies are on cable, but the shows themselves are not. And that would be hard to do because if you just turned on cable and you're just watching like episode 7 of Mando season 3, you'd be like, what? You know, it's kind of hard to do. I guess not really. I don't watch enough cable television anymore, you know? Is cable even still a thing? Does cable still exist? Do people still use that ancient technology? That's also true, actually. Yeah, I forgot about that. Andor was shown on ABC. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Andor is my favorite, and its dialogue is impeccable. But in a franchise that still offers to young audiences, dialogue has to be simplified. I disagree. I mean, you look at the original trilogy, and the prequels for that matter too, where people complain about the dialogue a lot, talking about George Lucas's dialogue all the time. It's not that it's simple dialogue. I mean, some of the stuff is like ridiculous. Even Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford always had interviews where they were talking about how complicated and difficult the dialogue was to even say. So there's always that. But critiquing Star Wars dialogue is nothing new. I mean, George Lucas has been criticized for his dialogue for 48 years. Like, that's not anything new in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. Indeed. Honey Badger says, my cable is YouTube. Nice. My channel numbers are my favorite YouTubers. A guy who loves Star Wars is number 47. I'm number 47? There's 47 better than me? God!
I got a bad feeling about this.
That's crazy. Okay. By the way, 72% of you do think that the Mandalorian will be a trilogy. That's wild. Okay. Let's talk about where was this? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So we got the director's list confirmed. These are the 4 that we know of. Dave Filoni, Bryce Dallas Howard, Jennifer Getzinger, and Angstrom Levy from Invincible. We got those 4. I'm guessing it's going to be 8 episodes. It's likely that most of them will get 2 episodes. That's what they usually do, but we'll see. No, number 47 was Nickelodeon, the best channel. Oh, okay. I'll take it. You have YouTube TV. Nice. Inklet, what's up? We missed you too. Indeed, we did. But those are your 4. That's the list that we have right now. I'm guessing they'll all just get 2 episodes. And more information will come out. It's just funny because last stream we were talking about how we don't have much information about Ahsoka Season 2. It's been filming for months now. It's still filming right now. And now we get the director's list. We were talking about Ezra, and we'll pull this up again. Ezra, we got to look at his nice new shorter hair here, which is pretty cool. He doesn't have the beard anymore and the really long Moses looking hair from Season 1 because he was stranded on Peridia for 11 years. And he also doesn't have the really short hair. He's gone back to the somewhat long from Rebels Season 1. Yeah, it's not really the purpley color either, but yeah. Actually, let's read this. Why not? How will Ezra Bridger factor into Ahsoka Season 2? Let's take a look at this. Iman Esfandi's Ezra Bridger, which, by the way, is like the most perfect casting of all time, will play a significantly different role in Ahsoka Season 2 than he did in Season 1. I mean, he's only in 3 of the 8 episodes in Season 1, and it's at the very end when they find him on Peridia. But in the show's first few episodes, the character also served as a MacGuffin for Ahsoka and Sabine, traveling the stars outside the known galaxy to find the long-lost Jedi. Well, now the roles have reversed completely. Season 1 left Ahsoka and Sabine and Huge Wang, don't forget about the droid, stuck on Peridia. I've found myself calling him Huge Wang so much now that I get concerned that if I'm in a serious conversation about Star Wars, maybe with like an actual grown adult that maybe I shouldn't be saying Huge Wang in front of, that I might accidentally call him Huge Wang. Also, you guys have broke my mind so much that I don't even know how to say the word necessary anymore. I'm dead serious. If I was to go say necessary right now, it probably would come out extremely wrong. And I blame all of you. This is your fault. This is all your fault. I no longer know how to work like a human being because of this chat. And it's all your fault. But having said that, it's not necessarily the case, by the way, they spelled Ahsoka wrong, that Ashoka, that when Ahsoka Season 1 left with Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huge Wang stuck on Peridia, where they found Ezra. And Ezra and Thrawn are now back in the Star Wars galaxy that we know and love. So they pretty much pulled an Uno reverse where they just switched it. This means that Ezra will likely take on a more official role within the New Republic in Season 2. Will he, though? Being reunited with his former Ghost's shipmate, Harrison Dula, and potentially the hulking Zeb as well. We know that Zeb will be in Season 2. Dave Filoni confirmed that for us at Star Wars Celebration, but Ezra will likely play a key part in helping commune with Ahsoka back on Peridia while balancing Thrawn's amassing of forces for an all-out assault in the Star Wars galaxy. I honestly think Ezra's going to really want to go save Sabine and Ahsoka. Or Hera, as well, is going to really want to go save Sabine and Ahsoka. But Thrawn is going to be the reason that they can't. I really think that Ahsoka is going to remain on Peridia by the end of Season 2. I think Sabine might as well. I think their mission is to be there. I mean, at the end of Season 1, Ahsoka says that they belong there. That's where they're supposed to be. But I think they're supposed to be there a lot longer than just Season 2. So it might just be that Ahsoka and Sabine and Huge Wang will stay on Peridia for a long time. Might not even be involved with the whole Heir to the Empire stuff after Ahsoka Season 2. Possibly. Mike, how do you say Sigourney? Sigourney! Yeah, if I ever meet Sigourney Weaver, I'm screwed. I'm absolutely screwed. Yeah. I'll be like, oh, Miss Weaver, how are you? And she'll be like, what's my first name? I'll be like, Sigourney! Sigourney!
This is where the fun begins.
Yeah. How embarrassing. But as I was saying, it seems like to me, Ahsoka and Sabine and the others are going to remain on Peridia. And the whole Thrawn of it all is going to remain in the main galaxy. And it's going to be too distracting. And there's really no way that they can even get there. They'd have to make a whole nother Eye of Sion. Ezra's got a pretty good deal going with the Purgles, so maybe not. Tell me in the chat, do you think that Ahsoka, by the end of season 2, Ahsoka and Sabine will still be on Peridia? Yes or no? Actually, let's pull this up. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. They should stay there and never get back because they'll overshadow Luke if they return. Interesting you brought up Luke Skywalker. But let me put up this poll first. Do you think by the end of Ahsoka season 2, Ahsoka and Sabine will still be stranded? Yes or no? Funny you bring up Luke Skywalker. Don't you think that Ezra specifically, the guy who got trained by Kanan Jarrus, he's actually the exact same age as Luke Skywalker because they were both born on Empire Day, the day Order 66 happened. They're the exact same age. And Force users, which are very rare at this point in the timeline, don't you think that Ezra would go to Luke's temple, or at least go to Luke, wherever he is? Maybe he's on Coruscant. I don't know. But wouldn't that mean Luke Skywalker would be in Ahsoka season 2? The last time we saw Luke was in the book of Boba Fett, training Grogu, and then Grogu decided to not train with him anymore. He was like, nah, you suck. I'm going back to Din Djarin. But he chose Pedro Pascal over a CGI'd Mark Hamill. That was 3 years ago. It's been 3 years since we saw Luke Skywalker in the book of Boba Fett. I think it's time we see him again. And Ahsoka might be the perfect spot to do so. It'd be very cool to see an Ezra Bridger Luke Skywalker connection. And it seems like, as Baldy Prick says in the chat, Luke has to be in it. If you're fighting Grand Admiral Thrawn, if you're on Coruscant, if this is the big heir to the Empire level event, don't you think Luke, Leia, and Han should be involved in that? By the way, 54% of you right now, and I'm going to leave this poll up for a little bit, 54% of you say no. You think by the end of Ahsoka season 2, Ahsoka will be back home. This could allow us to see a very, very powerful Ezra Bridger. At the end of Ahsoka season 1, we got to see Ezra go badass without a lightsaber. He just used the Force. The Force is my ally, and he absolutely just kicked the shit out of some stormtroopers. And it was great. However, 11 years stranded, he was probably training by himself. Who knows? I mean, we saw what happened with Obi-Wan when he was stranded for 19 years, or not stranded, but, when he was a hermit for 19 years on Tatooine. He probably trained with the Force every day, all day for 11 straight years. Ezra Bridger was very powerful when he left. He could be even more powerful now. And the ability to speak to the Purgles he already had. So it's possible that he could just be like, what's up, Purgles? How you doing? Yeah, you want to go help me get my friends real quick? That'd be fantastic. And then they go and hop in their Purgles and go get the friends. The problem is, they might not want to come back home. Maybe that's the way that Ezra just hops in a Purgle and goes and picks up Sabine. That could work. But I think Ahsoka is supposed to be on Peridia. We haven't really talked about it this stream, but the whole Abeloth of it all, the whole Mortis gods of it all. Because yeah, Thrawn's the big blue meanie. He's the heir to the Empire. That badass war in our Star Wars, as Dave Filoni calls it, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be in the other galaxy, or in the known galaxy. But in this new galaxy, there's a whole nother plot going on. There's 2 different shows going on pretty much at the same time. This is Mortis Gods. This is Abeloth. This is Balin Skoll, or New Balin Skoll. This is Huge Wang, Sabine, Shin Hati, Ahsoka Tano, Anakin Skywalker. A lot of Force lore, figuring out what's going on with the Zepho writing, Night Sisters, and why this whole planet is a desolate wasteland. And Abeloth. Have I mentioned that before? And Abeloth, the mother. So maybe, just maybe, we get to see that Ahsoka really is the living embodiment of the daughter, the living embodiment of the light side of the Force, and her mission, should she choose to accept it, is to stay on Peridia and protect the rest of the galaxy, the entire galaxy, from Abeloth. So you got two completely different stories going on here. But that would make a lot of sense because Ezra's very popular with the ladies, and by ladies I mean Purgle. Sorry.
I got a bad
Ezra is really good with the ladies and the Purgles, the big old space whales. So he could just be like, hey, go pick up my friend. And then when the Purgles get there, they're like, hey, I'm here for pickup from Ezra Bridger. And they're like, oh, cool. Yeah, let's do it. And only Sabine gets into the whale's mouth. Is that a sentence I just said? Only Sabine gets into the whale's mouth with Huge Wang. The sentence keeps getting worse. Only Sabine and Huge Wang get into the whale's mouth and go back to the Star Wars galaxy we know and love. But Ahsoka stays there, possibly with Force Ghost Anakin as well. Yeah. Indeed. Cal Kestis plus Ezra plus Luke should be the main characters of the next trilogy. Well, if the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is the beginning of the next trilogy like it's been reported to be, then this trilogy is going to be heavily focused on Din Djarin and Grogu. The end of the trilogy will have Din Djarin die to Grand Admiral Thrawn, highly likely, and Grogu will probably live on and be the one to kill Thrawn because he killed his dad. Highly likely. Those are my immediate predictions just because the Mandalorian and Grogu is kickstarting the trilogy. Will Cal Kestis play a role? Will Ezra and Luke and all these other characters play roles in that same trilogy? Yes. It's the Avengers. We're talking Star Wars Avengers right here. You have your spin-offs, your one-offs. Your Iron Man is your Mandalorian. Your Captain America is your Boba Fett. Your Guardians of the Galaxy is the Skeleton Crew. And they all come together for Infinity War to take on the big purple meanie, Thanos, in the same way they're going to take on the big blue meanie, Grand Admiral Thrawn. But Infinity War had an endgame. And I think we're going to see a very similar thing happen. Your Tony Stark is your Din Djarin, and he's going to die. Sacrificing himself to probably kill Thrawn or save the universe or who knows what. But you're going to have all the crew get together, all the heroes get together from your nobodies of the Vespa gang to your everybody's of Luke Skywalker. Give me a 1 to the chat if you've seen Avengers Endgame. Give me a 1 to the chat if you've seen Avengers Endgame. You know when Captain Marvel shows up? Do you remember that? Remember when Captain Marvel comes flying in? Like, it seems like all is lost. The whole battle is lost. Everybody's going to die. Thanos points his giant ship at the ground and goes, shoot them all. And they're like, but my lord, we're going to kill all of our own people. And he's like, I don't care. And then Captain Marvel comes in and it's like, ah! I don't think they play that song, but, you know, it should have been. That would be like Luke Skywalker showing up. Yeah. When all is lost and we're going to lose to Thrawn and it's all over. Yeah. You know, I think I'm okay without the Vespa Gang. The Vespa Gang has to be in there. You want to know why? Because they have to be absolutely obliterated by Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah. The Vespa Gang, like, they should just bring Palpatine back from the dead again, just so he can be like,
execute Order 66.
And this time, Order 66 is just to kill the Vespa Gang. Yeah. Yeah. The finale of Season 2 of The Mandalorian gives me Endgame vibes. That's more like Avengers 1. You know, that's the smaller team. That's the way smaller team. We're talking, like, yes, Fennec Shand, Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, they all gang up together to go save Grogu. That's cool. That's your Avengers 1. But we're talking Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, Vespa Gang, Black Chrysanthemum, Fennec Shand, Din Djarin, Grogu, the whole Skeleton Crew cast, the whole Ahsoka cast minus Ahsoka, the Ghost Crew and all the others. That's everybody. Not just a couple people, you know? Yeah. But I mean, Luke's entrance was legendary. For sure. Yeah. Imagine we get Legends-powered Luke in it. That would kind of complicate some things. I mean, Legends Luke is ridiculously powerful, and if that's being brought over to canon, that would be problematic, to say the least. Yeah. Luke, Leia, and Han will not be in this. Disney won't allow it. What do you mean? Luke has already been in this thing. He was already in a Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. They already brought back Han Solo in his own origin story. They already brought back Han Solo for the sequel trilogy. They already brought back Leia for Rogue One. You know? Expanded universe. I would say expanded universe, but that's just a mouthful, you know? Expanded universe versus Legends. It's a lot easier to say. Yeah. Rolls right off the tongue. Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Mike, calm down. I am calm! Dun, dun. I think Star Wars is just too much stuck in this era. We need to go to the Dawn of the Jedi movie. Well, we are getting the Dawn of the Jedi movie. I think... Well, that's the issue, okay? As you say that, I'm sure a bunch of other people in the chat said, no, please keep us here with these great characters that we know and love. So that's the issue that Disney has. They have to please all fans, or please the majority of fans, and that's very difficult to do because some fans do want that, like you're saying, completely new, all new characters, zero connections to the Skywalkers at all, just new. And then other people are like, no, I would rather be connected to people that I already know and love. I'd rather see familiar faces that I know from the projects that I already know are really great. Those are both valid arguments, but both very different things. So now Lucasfilm has to please both of those groups, and they can, because you're going to get a lot of Mandoverse stuff moving forward with Ahsoka Season 2 and beyond. Possibly a Mando trilogy. You're going to get more connections to the Skywalker saga with a Rey movie and whatever comes out after that. You're still getting a Maul series, Shadow Lord. That's prequel trilogy, original trilogy time period. So you'll get that. You'll get your Skywalker saga fix. But you'll also get new. Simon Kinberg's trilogy is supposed to be beyond the sequel trilogy and new. The Dawn of the Jedi movie, James Mangold and Mr. Williamon, they're making something new and hopefully really, really good. The origin story of the Jedi. That sounds awesome. So you have to please both, and I think you're definitely going to see that happen in the very near future. Yeah. They're too afraid to take risks, and that's where I draw the line. Everything has been a risk. Now, I will say, the sequel trilogy did make them go, hold up, wait a second, and take a step back. The Mandalorian is the biggest risk I think they've probably taken to date. It's one that paid off with just insane rewards, but doing that is a enormous risk. Bringing back a character like Boba Fett is an enormous risk. They continue time and time again to take those huge risks, and that's a big deal. That's what they should be doing, because Andor, nobody in their right minds was asking for an Andor, a Cassian Andor show, 24 episodes, 2 seasons of a Cassian Andor show. No. Not a single soul on this planet was asking for that. However, they gave it to us. They took the massive risk of giving us that story, and it was chef's kiss masterpiece. So, yeah, they've definitely been taking quite a few risks, for sure. The Acolyte was a big risk. The Acolyte was a huge risk. Yeah, one that didn't really pan out the way that they hoped. Now, as you guys know, I'm a huge Acolyte fan. From a Star Wars fandom perspective, it definitely didn't pan out the way that they'd hoped. Yeah. Indeed. They don't want to take risks on the big screen. Oh, well, they did. The Last Jedi, Rogue One. They've taken quite a few risks. We now have to get some Force users. Wait. We now have some Force users in play, like Shin Hati, possibly Mara Jade, Cal Kestis, Ezra Bridger, Luke Skywalker, Jason Syndulla, hasn't really been trained yet, but yes, Sabine Wren, Jade, Ahsoka, Grogu. That's true. There's a lot of Force users now. Well, of that list, Shin, Ahsoka, Sabine, they're all in a different galaxy. Cal Kestis has not been brought in yet. Luke Skywalker's doing his Jedi Temple. Jason Syndulla hasn't been trained yet. Jade is captured by the New Republic and has been trained for 2 weeks. So it's just Grogu and Ezra. Yeah. But Mara Jade, we talked about a lot on Tuesday's live stream. And if you were tuning into the Star Wars Jedi podcast last night, we were talking about it quite a bit. Mara would be great to see come into live action. It would add so much to the character of Luke Skywalker. It's insane. Yeah. What about Ezra training Jason? Well, that's the dream. Jason Syndulla is the son of Kanan Jarrus. Kanan Jarrus trained Ezra. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Like that's sort of how we hope it works. Now, Jason could go on to train with Luke, possibly, but only time will tell. That fully depends on if Ezra Bridger makes it out alive in all this. You know? Yeah, full circle moment for sure. For sure. Chimera, Soul, and Jekki were my faves. Yeah, R.I.P. Soul. And Jekki for that matter. Either the Force gets destroyed, or these Force users are not around by the sequels. That is a problem that we're going to have to talk about in the pretty near future, because there still is a 20-25-ish year time jump or time gap between The Mandalorian and The Force Awakens, the sequel trilogy. You have time to sort of explain whether these characters died or not and where they are. But a lot of these characters, specifically Ezra, Cal Kestis, Ahsoka, like these Force users, they are young enough where they could still be very much alive during the events of the sequel trilogy. Now, those characters I just listed off were also alive during the events of the original trilogy, and we don't really know where a few of them were. We know Ezra was in a different galaxy, but we don't know what Ahsoka was up to. We don't know what Cal Kestis was up to. We don't know why they weren't helping out when the rebellion needed them most. That still needs to be explained, but that could also be explained for the sequel trilogy. There's a world where a crazy world, but there's a world we could live in where Rey's new Jedi Order has Ezra and Cal Kestis and Grogu all involved in it. Or maybe they're off doing something else. I don't know. But those characters could be alive during the times of those post-sequel stories. So that would be pretty cool to see too. And I've mentioned this before, but there's not a single Mandalorian in the sequel trilogy. Not even a Mandalorian helmet. So we just saw the Mandalorians reclaim their homeworld of Mandalore. Where were they during the time of the sequel trilogy? What were they up to? Because they're not in the originals either, but Boba Fett is. So there's at least a Mandalorian. But they were all in hiding. Well, we know that for now, but we didn't at the time. So where are the Mandalorians during the sequel trilogy? There's a whole story that could be told at that time, you know? Yeah. Maybe they all decided that they had to move out of the galaxy to focus on the Force away from this galaxy. Well, adding a new galaxy does complicate things, because that could be an explanation for where many of these characters could have been, especially Ahsoka. Yeah. Or they could decanonize the sequel trilogy and give us a better one. That will never happen. The sequel trilogy is so intertwined now into the Star Wars lore that it's that's just never going to happen. I will say, I still believe that the sequel trilogy will be looked at in a way brighter light in the next 5 years. Probably not even. When you have projects like The Bad Batch, like The Mandalorian, setting up Palpatine's return, Project Necromancer, when you have books like Shadow of the Sith explaining the dagger, explaining Ochi of Bastoon and all that story with Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian, that stuff makes the sequels so much better. And I think that's just going to continue to happen when we get possibly a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, or what happened with the Order 66 level event that Kylo Ren pulled off. Like, there's going to be so much, you know? So no, that will never be retconned. Ever. As much as many of you would like it to happen. They will. Well, that's true too. They can just give us another trilogy that's even better than the sequels. That's also a possibility too. If you get this Mando trilogy that many of you in the chat think it's going to happen, if we get this Mando trilogy and it's better than the sequels, I'm sure you're going to see online, this is my sequel trilogy. I don't think that the sequel trilogy exists. And that's fine, whatever. You could see both as existing. You could see one existing, one not, whatever. That doesn't matter. But getting more great content is the better solution than just deleting and redoing. Because the sequels are so connected, making more content around it, more great content, is only going to elevate it. Even great content can be elevated. Prime example is Andor. I've mentioned this all the freaking time now, but Andor makes Rogue One and A New Hope so much better. Those projects didn't need to be made better, but it does anyway. So, yeah. Mike, your positivity is so refreshing. Am I positive? I just say really good, positive things in a very angry tone. You know?
This is where the fun begins.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Force users are born every day. True. So there'll always be more Force users. But as it's been explained time and time again by Ahsoka, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, etc., the Force is something that flows through everybody. Their ability to wield it is fully dependent on midichlorian count, on natural talent, but also training. You can't, even Anakin Skywalker wouldn't have become Anakin without training. He would have been really good at pod racers. He's the only human that can compete because he has that natural Force ability, but he's not going to be wielding the Force all willy-nilly like he is when he's grown up. That takes training. So yes, Force users are, born every day now. But without training, it's not going to come to anything. Broom Boys all exist across the galaxy, but Broom Boy's not going to be saving the world because he doesn't have training. Yeah. Luke Skywalker couldn't have taken down the Emperor and Vader without training first with Obi-Wan and then with Yoda and going toe-to-toe with Sith Lords. Just couldn't happen. This is the calmest I've ever seen, Mike. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I don't know. He yells at me every time I give him money. True story. True story. True story. Sorry about that. That's on me. That's my bad. Oh, by the way, we're taking a look at this too. Ezra Bridger. These were the behind-the-scenes photos from Star Wars Celebration. Ezra Bridger, looking like he's getting suited up here. You got pilots behind him going off in some war, and this is the exact same short hair that we were just talking about. Oops, that we were just talking about here. Like, this is the concept art. That's the exact hair length of what Iman is having right now. So this is what Ezra's going to look like in season 2. Yeah. Oh, super chat. Oh my God. Ron with an insanely generous $20 holla. Goddamn. Says books, comics, and animation make the stories so much better and fill in a lot of the blanks. Absolutely. I mean, the animation side of Star Wars gets criticism for being too kid-y, made for kids. And that, first of all, is just insane. But it has the ability, and same with novels and comics, it has the ability to tell a longer story, to have yourself exist in Star Wars and really just explore characters in a way deeper level. Because animation is 24 episodes or 16 episodes and over a way longer season than just 8. Now, it costs less to do that because it's animation versus live action, but it still allows you to exist and stay in this world for longer periods of time. Same with books, because it could be a 1,000-page novel, and same with comic books. You're not limited to the budget of an 8-episode TV show. So you're absolutely right, and that's an insanely generous super chat. I appreciate that quite a bit, Ron. And by the way, if you have not checked out Star Wars Jedi Podcast, I don't know what the hell what you're doing, what you're waiting for, because I've been on there almost every Wednesday for months now. So go check them out. And we had a great chat last night. But where were we? Yes, fills in a lot of the blanks. But yes, Iman is now rocking the short hair, which is seen in the concept art. We got a bunch of other things here too. Night Sisters, which look crazy badass here. You got Enoch taking down some New Republic officers. This is going to be happening in the other galaxy. Crazy, large droid, possibly Mortis god-like creature thing. I don't know. This massive hand could be alluding to something pretty crazy. Because if you remember, back in Star Wars, back in the Clone Wars Season 6, when Yoda goes off to learn to become a Force Ghost, he comes across a enormous Force Ghost or ghost of Darth Bane. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is Darth Bane, but it could be something along those lines where this is just a massive version of something we've seen before. The big rumor going around right now is that the son from Mortis will be in this second season. And that would make a lot of sense because of the character's involvement with the Mortis gods and yeah, Ahsoka being the daughter. But the voice of that character is also Sam Witwer. So it could be just a very, very, very large, creepy version of the son. But, I mean, we do see other images of this possible creature later on. But you got Night Sisters fighting here, too. Grand Admiral Thrawn walking into some sort of bridge-type area, probably of the Chimera. Oh, yeah, you got General Grievous, Huge Wang, wielding 4 lightsabers. Are these training lightsabers, or is he actually, manufacturing 4 new lightsabers and going crazy with them? I don't know, but that's pretty cool. I think he's actually fighting Shin Hati in this scene. Because there's another behind the scenes, or another, what are these called? Concept art, I guess, of Shin Hati in the same sort of location. Here we got possibly Ezra Bridger or maybe a dead officer. I'm not too sure. And Hera and Chopper on a red-looking planet, which is most likely going to be Dathomir. If they take the fight to Dathomir, that would be absolutely insane. But maybe on Dathomir. Chopper with a insanely large gun, minigun. That's what you like to see. Chopper going all badass. Ooh, interesting. That's Balin's skull, and that looks like Ahsoka's ship. And this is the creature I think we were talking about earlier. Possibly a droid. Looks like a Celestial, or no. Yeah, Celestial from Marvel. Oh my god, it flies now. They fly now! So yeah, there's that same thing flying. And Sabine shooting at it. But these were all released back Star Wars Celebration. I just was sort of making the point with Ezra's hair being the same length here and there. But yes, so there's that concept art up the wazoo. Star Wars Order, how we doing? The party don't start till you walk in. That's true. Oh, this was another thing from behind the scenes for Ahsoka. Hayden Christensen, who we know is going to be in Season 2, is confirmed to be filming night scenes in Ahsoka Season 2 next weekend. So what that means, I have no idea. A scene at night, I guess, for Anakin. Doesn't give us a lot of information, but gives us some, I guess. Yeah. But there's that. So Hayden Christensen, they keep everything such a tight secret nowadays over at Lucasfilm when they're filming stuff. So it's very, very hard to get any sort of leaks when it comes to the filming of Ahsoka Season 2. But we got that. More behind-the-scenes stuff. We were talking about directors. Here's the director of photography for Season 2. That is Stephen... Yeah, that's way too many consonants next to each other. But that guy... Maybe it's a misspelling. Hang on, let's see. No, that's right. Okay. He's the director of photography for Ahsoka Season 2. Interesting. So there's that. I don't really know who this guy is. Should we look it up? Let's look it up. Copy and paste. Stephen, that guy. Stephen P. He was born on November 10th of 1975 in Denmark. All right, let's see his stuff he's worked on here. He worked on Wednesday. Oh, the show on Netflix, Wednesday. There you have it. There you have it. The more you know. So there's that. Is there anything else Ahsoka before we move on to Andor and the Acolyte? Let's see. We got to that. We got to that. Oh, Visions too, by the way. And I'll just throw this in here real quick because we don't really talk much Visions here. Well, it's not for a long time. Visions Volume 3 is this September, I think? September or October. I forget which one. But, oh, October 29th. It's right there. October 29th is when Visions Volume 3 comes out. But this August, the 22nd, they're doing another Q&A type thing, like they did with Andor, with Tony Gilroy. So submit your questions now for the upcoming Q&A for Visions Volume 3, which comes out October 29th. That was that. Any Ahsoka's? No. Okay. So with that, let's move on slightly here. Yes. Hayden is fighting Baylan Skoll as a Force Ghost. Now that would be pretty cool. It is also probably easier to do Force Ghost scenes at night. So that's probably why they're filming at night. Maybe. Has anybody watched The Bear? I just finished it and it's incredible. I'm on season 3. I'm a little behind on The Bear. So I'm on season 3 still, but I'm getting there. I am getting there. Did anybody see the Stranger Things trailer yesterday? Oh my God. Can't believe it's wait till November for that. When it's all said and done, if Stranger Things season 5 sticks the land, and this is a little bit off topic, when Stranger Things sticks the landing, or if it sticks the landing, it might go down as one of, if not the greatest shows of all time. Like already through 4 seasons, it's in the conversation, and if the ending is good, I mean, come on. Season 3 was a little bit dry. I think season 2 for me was a little bit dry. Season 3 was the one where it was like the mall and stuff. It was more of the season 1 is very serious and dark. Well, I guess they're all very serious and dark. But season 2 was very similar to season 1, but a little bit worse, I think. Again, I haven't seen these in so long. I got to rewatch all 4 seasons. But I remember season 3 being more like different. Like it was more, the kids were teenagers now, they go to the mall, and it was more upbeat. Still a bunch of horror-like things happening, but yes, season 4 is, I think, by far the best one. Maybe season 1, but season 4. Okay, that's besides the point. Star Wars. Okay, where was I? Yeah, Stranger Things. Now, Star Wars. Let me end this poll. Oh, I already did. Do you think Ahsoka and Sabine will still be stranded? 56% of you say no, so you think they'll be coming back home. Interesting. I think they will be stranded, so I'm on the other side of that. Yeah. Star Wars. Yeah. If you haven't watched Stranger Things, which I'm seeing a bunch of you say, let's watch that. It's really, really good. Yeah. Star Wars, not Stranger Things. We'll make a guy who loves Stranger Things channel. No, we won't. That's no, definitely not. Okay. So 1 year ago today, let's not forget what happened, Jed. Or actually, it was yesterday, I think. 1 year ago yesterday. Let's not forget what happened, Jed. Cue the sad violin. One year ago yesterday, the Acolyte came to an end. Darth Plagueis' first ever live-action appearance, and only, seemingly, in the cave on what we think was, shit, what was the hell? What's the planet from the Plagueis novel, chat? Why can't I think of it? It's not Brendok. Brendok is the one, is where the witches are. Why can't I think of it? It's the planet where Plagueis kills Tenebris. What the hell's the planet called? Still haven't seen the Acolyte? Honey Badger, what are you doing? His name is Chicken Jockey? I don't think so. Star Wars is the GOAT? Now that's the truth. Really? Jeannie from Tahini says, wow, it's that recent? It feels so much longer ago. I think the opposite. I thought that the Acolyte felt like it was yesterday. It's been a whole year? Yeah. It's an unpopular opinion, but I enjoyed the Acolyte Season 1 finale more than Ahsoka Season 1 finale. Whoa. That's interesting. No, I can't agree with that. In your personal opinion. In my personal opinion, I do not think so. He is canon. Well, Plagueis was canon beforehand, but this was his first official appearance. It took 17 or 18 years? 17 years? Something like that. Baldemic. Thank you, Holly. Thank you. Yes. Baldemic. That's where Plagueis kills Tenebris, but it's also where the I gotta rewatch the Acolyte now. I can't think of these easy names. What is the metal that's Kymir's helmet? The cortosis. Ha! I got that on my own. Chat. I don't need you. Just kidding. I need you guys. So no. Cortosis. Baldemic is also the home of the metal cortosis, which is used in Kymir's helmet and his little gauntlet thing that he has too. So that is this planet. Yeah. I enjoyed Kymir. Please bring him back. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. I still think Plagueis in the Acolyte is farther away from episode 1. It's still like 100 and something years. I forget the exact date, but it is still very far away from like this Plagueis here, sort of a younger Plagueis, even though he doesn't look it. Yeah. He goes on for a long time. More Manny Jacinto. Manny is the GOAT, yeah. More Manny. They really did cook with that character. They literally just gave us like this just incredibly epic new dark side wielding cortosis wearing badass Manny Jacinto, you know? What upcoming Star Wars project am I most looking forward to? That's a great question. Usually I would say the next one because it's usually very close. But right now the next one is Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2 or Visions Volume 3, which is definitely not at the top of my list. So the upcoming projects, you got Dawn of the Jedi, you got the Mandalorian Grogu movie, you got the Starfighter movie. I guess those are the upcoming movies. For shows, you got Maul Shadow Lord, you got Ahsoka Season 2. Ahsoka Season 2 is definitely at the top of my list, but Maul Shadow Lord, the more we get on it, I feel like if we get a trailer or something, it could very quickly rise in the ranks, especially if it comes out earlier on in 2026. So right now it's Ahsoka Season 2, but it could be Maul Shadow Lord very, very quickly. But tell me in the chat, what's your most anticipated or most highly anticipated or most looking forward to, I guess, Star Wars project in the near future? Tell me in the chat. Manny Jacinto was great. Oh, yeah, he is. But that happened 1 year ago. So, yeah. On this day 1 year ago, episode 8 of The Acolyte premiered, and we gifted us all with the first taste of Darth Plagueis in live action. Yeah. That was the tweet that somebody posted on that. More of a little bit of Acolyte news here, too, is with the Emmys coming up. The Acolyte has been nominated for an Emmy It has received an Emmy, sorry. Oh, no, received an Emmy nomination. I was right the first time for outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama series. That is like the most specific award I've ever heard in my life. But I guess the sound was great. Speaking of awards, let's switch our gears over a little bit here to Andor, which is right here, which has been nominated for 14 Emmys. 14! Including, they're all outstanding, by the way. Outstanding drama series. Outstanding guest actor. I wonder who that is. It doesn't tell me who the outstanding actor is. I don't know. Outstanding writing, outstanding directing, outstanding production design. You know when you say a word so much that it starts to sound wrong? Every time I'm saying outstanding right now, it sounds like I'm saying the complete wrong word. Outstanding cinematography, outstanding fantasy / sci-fi costumes, outstanding picture editing, outstanding visual effects, outstanding music composition, outstanding sound mixing and editing. Isn't that the same thing? No, it's not. I know that, but you know. Outstanding original music, outstanding character voice over. Oh my God, I'm out of breath. Oh, Forrest Whitaker is the guest one? Ah, I see. But that's a lot of awards. And they're just nominated for those awards, so it'll be interesting to see if they win any of those awards. Does anybody know when the Emmys is? When the Emmys are? It's a singular thing, though, right? It's just an award ceremony. So wouldn't it be is? Chat? When is it? September? It's not till September? Next year? Wait, what? Hang on. I gotta look this up. When is the Emmys? September 14th? What? Why is it so far away? That's crazy. Okay, well, guess we gotta wait till September to find out if they win. That's insane. Oh, Forrest Whitaker was nominated? Ah, I see. I see. That's crazy. Ah, you're right. You did post. Okay. That's okay. That's my bad. That's my bad. It was also Forrest Whitaker's birthday a couple days ago. So happy birthday, Forrest Whitaker. There you go. D23 is next month. That's true too. And I'm glad you brought that up. D23 is next month. And San Diego Comic-Con is in 2 weeks, a week and a half. Not this weekend, but next weekend is San Diego Comic-Con. And as we talked about on Tuesday, George Lucas is going to be there, but Star Wars will be there as well. And today, I believe it was today. Yes, today, StarWars.com posted this about about San Diego Comic-Con. Take home these standout Star Wars exclusives from San Diego Comic-Con, and it just goes through a bunch of exclusives for Star Wars. Oh my God, they still make these things? That's wild. But you got all these things here. Oh, that's kind of nice. Star Wars helmet. A Darth Vader helmet. A Mando poster. Wait, what? Is this for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, or is this just Mandalorian and Grogu? Not too sure, but there's a Razor Crest behind them. Okay. Then you have that. You got these. Some sort of exclusive thing. Sure. You got, Darth Revan. Darth Revan. Darth Nihilus. Jeez. Throwing in a bunch of Old Republic characters in there, I see. Got all these things. So these are just the things that are going to be there. But this is all besides the point. This is all just for me to bring up the point that San Diego Comic-Con could give us some sort of announcement. Now, I think, who said it in the chat about D23? As Justin said in the chat about D23, I think if we're going to get a Mandalorian and Grogu teaser trailer this summer, it's likely to be at D23, not San Diego Comic-Con. As great as it would be to be at San Diego Comic-Con, because Marvel's not going to be there. So Hall H, the big event at San Diego, is not going to happen. It'd be great if Star Wars could come in and take over for Marvel, but that seems highly unlikely at this point. However, I do think we're going to get a Mandalorian and Grogu teaser trailer very soon. Here's why. One, it finished filming back in December of last year. Two, the teaser trailer was already shown to the people in attendance at Star Wars Celebration 3 months ago, or whatever it was. Yeah, 3 months ago. 3 months ago. Over 3 months ago. So it's already ready to go. And to top it all off, number 4, 3, 2, 5, whatever number I was on, they've been releasing teaser trailers for movies in way longer than a year in advance. And now we are only 10 months away from the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So just the other day, I guess they didn't release it publicly, but if you go and watch Superman, which I did on Tuesday night, and it's great. I watched it twice, actually, on Sunday and Tuesday. But I saw the teaser trailer for Christopher Nolan's next movie, The Odyssey, which doesn't come out for over a year. So there's already a teaser trailer out for that movie. Where's the Mandalorian and Grogu teaser trailer? So I do think that we'll see a Mandalorian and Grogu teaser trailer within the next couple months. I think by the latest, we're talking September, October. And because they have stuff in September and October, Visions Volume 3, Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2, I think we should expect it before then. Probably in August, if I were a betting man. But we'll see. Yeah, the Tron trailer dropped today, too. I haven't actually watched it, but I'm sure it looks great. Yeah. Are you going to Comic-Con, Mike? No. I don't live in L.A., or I guess San Diego. I don't live in California. I'm on the East Coast, not the West Coast. So, no. But we'll definitely be covering it if anything crazy happens. Yeah. Yeah. I've not seen the new Superman movie. Go watch it. It's really good. It's different than, like, the Man of Steel. The Superman that I had growing up, I guess, was the Man of Steel. This came out in, like, 2012 or 13 or something. And that's a very dark movie. I mean, people die left and right and all that stuff. And that's not really Superman. This is more of a Superman movie, you know? Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome to see Saw Gerrera and K2SO get nominations, but no nominations for Luthen or Mon Mothma is criminal. What? Luthen and Mon Mothma, you're right. They didn't get nominations? That's crazy. Actually, Luthen should have got nominated for Season 1. Season 2, he's not really in as much. Mon Mothma, though, absolutely. That's crazy. That's insane. What country do you come from? What do you want me to say? Missouri? I messed that up. It's what do you want me to say? Jesus? Yeah. Are you from Earth? I'm from Missouri. That's Earth's, idiot. Yeah, that's on me. My bad. United States. Where's everybody tuning in from around? Where's everybody tuning in from today, chat? Drop it in the chat. Okay. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Okay. I grew up on the Reeves Superman. Nice. Nice. Oh, yeah. Fantastic Four is going to be incredible, too. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be insane. Holy crap. Look at all these people around the world here. Canada, Tennessee. Those are like two completely different places. I swear I do these live streams just to make myself laugh. San Diego, California. There you go. San Diego Comic-Con. You must be going, right? LA, Ohio, Maryland, Texas, Washington, the UK, Brooklyn, Georgia, Florida, Michigan, Indiana, Germany, Iowa today. Nice. California, nice. That's a lot of different places. That's a lot of different places. Crazy. Okay, but as I was saying, Andor, in a word, outstanding. 14 different nominations for Andor and a nomination for The Acolyte, which came out finished over a year ago, which is pretty dang cool. There was one other thing I want to talk about when it came to yes. So, for people who are holding out hope that we're going to get more of the what the heck? Hang on. I Hodja with a very generous $21.87 super chat. 2187. I getcha. This super chat shall meet you in detention block AA23, sublevel 5, political prisoner area, cell number 2187. Love it. Here's to another stream. Sorry, I'm from Scotland near Aldani. Nice. Mike has friends everywhere. Seems that way. The people who love Star Wars are everywhere. Nice. I appreciate that, Hodja. I really, really do. 2187. That's great. Can I get some Execute Order 66 in here? Or how about, who wants to send me a super chat that's like the whole, what's the number of people who died during the Death Star explosion? It's like in the billions, right? Anybody want to send a super chat that's that number? That would be appreciated. But yeah, appreciate it. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yes. People who are holding out hope that Tony Gilroy will come back to Star Wars. Well, here is your hopes being met, I guess. As he says, Star Wars is not on the menu right now, but never say never. Because Andor was such a phenomenon, it was such a just massive hit for Star Wars fans who watched it. We see online the very big push for Tony to stick around. He's been very adamant about leaving Star Wars because he's been working on Star Wars for the last decade, which is a long time. And he's given us 3 of the greatest Star Wars projects ever, helping work on Rogue One and giving us Andor in Season 1 and Season 2. But he's taking a break from Star Wars. It's not on the menu right now. However, never say never. Could be coming back eventually. Now, what he'd come back to do, I have no idea. He's been talking about recently how he watched Skeleton Crew, and he loved that. He's talking about how they're doing the Dawn of the Jedi movie, which he loves the idea of doing something like that, very disconnected from everything else. Yeah. True. Mike, you need one of those drops of Andor telling Mon Mothma I have friends everywhere. I need to get more buttons than just, the.
This is where the fun begins.
Incorrect.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I only got a handful. I need some more, For sure. You asked us where we are from. Where are you from? I told you. The U.S. of A. Specifically, I'm really not on my game today, Chad. I'm trying to think of the address that Walter White says in Breaking Bad, and I can't remember. Something Arroyo Lane. Something like that. Damn. My brain is broken. I'm still on vacation mode, Chad. I'm still on vacation mode. 50 Thunder, what's up? How we doing? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Tony Gilroy, not on the docket right now, Star Wars, that is, but sometime in the future. Sometime in the future. Yeah. Oh, yes, too. This too. So, this is a little off topic, but still on topic with the Mandoverse. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie comes out in 10 months, and we just talked about the teaser trailer and when that's going to happen, but we also have to talk about this. Today is the 70th anniversary of Disneyland in California, but we're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu because the addition to the Smuggler's Run opens in May on the exact release date of the movie because it coincides with the movie itself, with the plot of the movie. So if you go on the ride, it will have teasers or spoilers, I should say, to the movie. And Jon Favreau said that this ride takes place directly off screen from the movie, which leads you to sort of start to speculate about some pretty crazy stuff. Is the Millennium Falcon going to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? If so, who's piloting it? Han Solo and Chewie? So there's that. But also, Hondo Ohnaka. Hondo Ohnaka hears of a deal on Tatooine between ex-Imperial officers and pirates, setting the stage for a high-stakes chase across the galaxy. You will join Mando and Grogu to track them down and claim the bounty. So they're working on a bounty mission. You got a Razor Crest here, which is crazy. Are Din and Grogu back in the Razor Crest? I don't know, because in one of these you see them. You see, yeah, them flying right alongside you. So who knows if they're getting the Razor Crest back or if that's just Zeb Orrelius's. It'd be kind of lame. Actually, I don't know. You guys tell me in the chat. Would you rather Din Djarin and Grogu stick to the N1 Starfighter, or do you want him to get the Razor Crest back or a new Razor Crest? What do you think? What do you think? Honey Badger, I appreciate you being here. No worries. Have fun at work. And Pam, we do not sell merch yet. Merch is actually ready to go. The store is just being stupid, so we're figuring it out. But do you think that Din Djarin should keep the M1 Starfighter or go get a new Razor Crest? Because clearly they're teasing at the Razor Crest. You got it with this ride, and we've seen it in images with Zeb. Cloud City's pretty cool. Going back there. That's pretty cool. So Cloud City, we don't know what planet that is. This is the second Death Star. Why are we going back to the wreckage of the second Death Star? And it's still in the sky. Could we actually see the second Death Star wreckage crash into the planet where we see Rey go to see it? Like that stuff right there. That's cool. It's really cool. Huh, interesting. Okay. Actually, let's pull this up, you know? Why not? Both are badass. True, they're both badass, but you can't really fly both of them. He's only one guy. Which do you prefer Din Djarin uses? Rides in? Flies. That's a good answer. Flies. A new Razor Crest? Or the nice new N1 Starfighter that he just acquired not that long ago. Why can't I type? Starfighter. There we go. M1 Starfighter or Razor Crest? Which do you prefer? The Razor Crest, you can't take anyone else aboard the other. True, that is a problem, but he's not really a bounty hunter anymore. They're working for, well, I guess this is a bounty hunting mission, right? That we're just talking about here. So maybe he takes this out on the bounty hunting missions and then takes the N1 on other things. I don't know. Well, yeah. Well, the whole gist of season 3 is he's not going to be a bounty hunter anymore. He's a Mandalorian, and now he's training Grogu to be one too. He's working for the New Republic, so he doesn't really need to collect bounties anymore. Not voting as I want both. Well, okay. You're probably not going to get both, though. The M1 Starfighter is not going to fit in the Razor Crest. Let's put it that way. It's not going to be like he gets both because we can fly both. That's pretty cool. Where's the up close look at the Razor Crest? Yeah, the M1 Starfighter is not going to fit in that. As great as maybe it could like dock up top. That would be kind of cool. Oh wait, I just noticed this. This is open and he's jetpacking across. What is going on here? Hang on, let me get a closer look. That's crazy. What is the mission here? He is completely out the door and jetpacking across looking for something at the second Death Star. That's pretty crazy, actually. Wild. Okay. Interesting. But also, let me ask the question. Do you think this is implying that Han Solo is going to be in the Mandalorian Grogu movie. If this happens right off screen, if this is what, as Jon Favreau said, this happens at the exact same time as the movie, wouldn't that imply that the Millennium Falcon and the pilots of it, Chewbacca and Han Solo, are in the Mandalorian Grogu movie? Like, that's not a crazy theory or anything. That's just a fact. Didn't you get the Razor Crest and Grogu can fly the M1 Starfighter? I don't think Grogu's tall enough to reach the pedals. No, I don't think he's tall enough to pilot a ship by himself. Or not even tall enough, but old enough. I mean, he's really old. Not mature enough? I don't know. At least Chewie. If you're giving us Chewie, it's like giving us C-3PO and Ahsoka. Just give us the whole thing. If Han and Chewie and the Millennium Falcon are all in the Mandalorian Grogu movie, it's a guaranteed $1 billion. Just the name of Han and Chewie being in the movie alone. $1 billion. I think this movie's going to make well over $1 billion. I know we've had this conversation before, but if it's a great movie, it's closer to $2 billion. Like, that should be the conversation we're really having here. Yeah. If they have Han and it's not Alden deepfaked, I'll be disappointed. Alden deepfaked? Well, why bring in Alden just to deepfake him? You know? Just deepfake Han. Yeah, no. As per usual, Star Wars is good at keeping secrets. True, but this almost seems like a slip up to me. Because they announced this. This will come out on the day of the movie release. And it's going to have Hondo Ohnaka and the Millennium Falcon. And the pilots of the Millennium Falcon are Han Solo and Chewie. At this point in the timeline. So wouldn't that imply that Hondo Ohnaka, Chewie, Han, and the Millennium Falcon will all be in the Mandalorian Grogu movie? That's pretty wild. Chewie is also used for Smuggler's Run now? Really? I didn't know that. It's not going to make $1 billion. When it gets closer to the movie, I think we should start making bets. Yeah. No worries, Ron. I appreciate you. Start making bets on how much money it's going to make. Because if I get the feeling like after the trailers come out and the hype level is really high and the trailers are really good and tease at some pretty crazy stuff, I would be willing to bet a lot of money that it will make $1 billion, but I'd be willing to bet a less amount of money that it'll make $2 billion. Yeah. I'd love to see Chewie fly in the N1. That would be, I don't think he'd fit in it. I don't think it's even possible. By the way, this poll has 71% of you saying Razor Crest. Interesting. I like the N1. Don't get me wrong. I think I like the Razor Crest more. The M1 is more like a... It's like Din Djarin's a dad now and he's having a midlife crisis and he gets a sports car, you know? Like most people do. Like the Razor Crest is the mom van and in the N1 Starfighter is the midlife crisis sports car. Yeah. Alden Ehrenreich is the right age. Oh, and Jonas. Well, Jonas doesn't have to be the right age, but Alden does. Yeah. Look, so many people were predicting that Superman would flop, and it didn't. Yeah, I mean, for some reason, people always look for the worst in things. But what are you gonna do? Yeah. How much money does Disney spend on movie and marketing that brings the profit down? No, I'm not talking profit. I'm just talking box office makings, box office earnings. Yeah. How much money does it make in the box office? Not profit, just box office, straight box office. But I don't know the numbers on that either. Yeah. All right, I'm going to end this poll. Let's end this poll. 71% of you say yes, Razor Crest. Wow. The more you know. But let me see if we got the... Oh, Vader's saber. Okay, let's talk about this. Just real quick. Vader's lightsaber, the original Vader's lightsaber, is at auction right now. A big opportunity. Do you want to buy Darth Vader's lightsaber? Well, you better have a pretty big wallet. Where's the price? Hang on. The item... Wait. Sorry. Back in 2022... Prop Store sold a screen-matched model miniature X-Wing fighter that was 22 inches long that was created for director George Lucas's original Star Wars film, and that went for $2.3 million. So that was this. So this is the original lightsaber that's for sale. This is the sort of stick. There was a bigger stick that had this foil on the outside that was reflective so that they could make the lightsaber light up, but that's the sort of look of it. Where's the price? Oh, estimated range of 1 to 3 million. So if you're looking for a new lightsaber and you want the original Darth Vader one and you have a few $1 million laying around, you can get to that. Okay. But with that, I do have to get on out of here. Smash a freaking like in this stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell to get notified every time I post a video in my pretty face, which will be the recommended feed of yours. We got to a lot today. I think we did pretty good. Ahsoka Season 2, Andor, Acolyte, a new lightsaber for sale, San Diego Comic-Con. Talked about it all. But until then, I got to go finish making this short for today. Watch out for that at 5 in about an hour-ish. And yeah. If you have not already, smash a freaking like in the stream. How many likes do we have, Jen? Am I going to be upset? 57! That's crazy. We had so many people here today. Smash a freaking like in the stream if you have not already. Huge shout-outs to all the very generous... Oh, wait, what? Oh, interesting. I did not know I had that. Oh, okay. Sorry. I just found something really cool. Shout-out to Haja, Ron, Alexander, Darth Plagueis Lives, and your pal Joe for the very generous super chats and memberships. I appreciate it quite a bit. And yeah. May the force be with you. Always. Oh yeah, what a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. This was quite the stream, if I do say so myself. Smash a like on this stream on your way out if you have not already. And yeah, we'll implement that guessing my shirt thing next stream. So if you guess my shirt correctly for next stream on Saturday, you'll get 1,000 credits. And we'll open up gambling on Saturday's live stream too. Okay. But until then, hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.